Hello, everyone. The Westport Country Playhouse would like to welcome you to our second episode of Coffee Break. My name is Jacob Santos. I am your host, and I'm also the managing director fellow here at the Playhouse. So, Coffee Break is a space and a time where we come together and talk to artists, colleagues, and art makers. Last week, I talked to Paola Hernandez. We talked about her career. We talked about representation. So that's also on our page. So go back and check out episode 1 if you want to, if you're interested. And today, I am so excited for our guest today. I'm going to be talking to Rodolfo Soto, who played Usnavi in our iconic production of In the Heights in our last season in 2019. So let me bring him on so everyone gets to meet him. All right, let's see. Here we go. Do, 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 do. Let me see. Do, do, do. We're still waiting for him to join. There we go. There's Rodolfo.
Ew!
Hey, there you are.
Oh my god! I
Here
didn't
we
think that
go.
was gonna work for a second. I got nervous.
Me too.
Ring light, and now I'm too bright. I don't know how to do this.
Oh, you got that ring light going on, right?
Not mine. Trust me, I don't own one. It's a running joke in my friend group that I don't own a ring light. I think that's fine. Look at that.
Yeah.
We have my little sister running lighting over here.
There we come through
My
production.
mom took a seat. Oh, the family's here. We're here.
Love it. Love it.
Oh my gosh.
So, Rodolfo, how are you?
That's a loaded question. No, I'm fine, man. I mean, I'm at home. I've been healthy, which is really good. My family's been healthy. I'm here in the Bronx. I'm actually, so the neighborhood I'm in is, okay, you want to come? Oh, my dog is like gonna come up here at some point. The neighborhood I'm in is actually, I think, like one of the state's top 10 like most infected neighborhoods or something. It's
Wow.
most infected neighborhoods in the Bronx. So it's like a lot going on around here. It's a lot going on around here. But I've been lucky to be healthy and be fine. My family's healthy. You know, my mom's healthy, which is always really good. She's an essential worker, so it's good to see her happy and healthy. And I think I've been fine. Just been trying to keep positive. It's very difficult sometimes, but I got some good friends and some good people by my side, so it's a little easier.
Great.
I love
I'm
that
so
dog.
happy.
I hate him at the same time. Scary.
I'm so happy to hear that you are staying healthy, that your family's healthy. That's so great during this time. So, and it's good that you have friends to connect to. I feel like that's like the thing that's been grounding me is like having my friends and connecting through Zoom or FaceTime or social media. Like, so good to have that
And
opportunity
that's my
and that ability.
sister as well, who's like helping me through everything. Like
Uh-huh.
she did my nails for the first time in my life. She's
There we
like,
go.
"Oh, you get your nails done?" I'm like, you know what, man? Why not? And my nails look beautiful. These are, I play guitar with them. That's why they're so long. They're so
Yes.
shiny. And but no, yes, it's really good to have friends to connect with over Zoom. I mean, do it as much as you can. Do it as much as you can.
Exactly. So let's jump into it. Let me ask you the first question. So this is kind of a big one. So answer it like any way that you like. So
Yeah.
tell me, how did you get into the arts? And that can
Um,
be, yeah.
is this better? Can you hear me a little better?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Okay, thank you. How did I get into the arts? So I was, I think I was like always kind of artistically drawn. I don't know if that comes from being like the younger one or like a middle child or what, but the thing is that I in high school, I'll just go to straight to theater. In high school, I took a choir class my freshman year of high school, and I had to sing a solo. I had to sing Tevin Campbell's "Tomorrow" in front of the entire school. Sang it a couple times. It was awesome. It felt really great. I mean, I still, even to this day, don't consider myself like a singer per se, but
Hmm.
I sang in front of the whole school, and then I left it. That was freshman year. Sophomore year, I left it just because of like the, unfortunately, like the neighborhood I was growing up in and stuff. Like do like the arts, like especially theater and things like theater, were kind of frowned upon to certain people in the neighborhood because of you might look a certain way and you don't want that image around here. You don't want to present a certain way in this neighborhood. And that's just an unfortunate truth, bless you, of the neighborhood I grew up in. And by junior year of high school, So sophomore year of high school, I actually saw my first musical. I saw Into the Woods, and
Okay.
at my high school, and I saw my friends on the stage. I'm like, that looks awesome. So junior year comes around. I want to audition for the musicals. I go to my friend Ramon. I'm like, hey man, Ramon, do you think I could you think I could be a part of this? Like, what if I'm not good enough? My voice is changing. I don't sound like Tevin Campbell anymore. This is not good. And he's like, no, go audition. And I'm auditioning for this show I'd never heard of before, and I get like right in front of the audition door, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to jump in. I'm fully ready to bail out of this audition, and my friend Ramon goes, "All right, you're gonna bail out?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I can't do it. I'm not gonna audition anymore." And he opens the door and pushes me into the room, and then I have no choice but to sing a song and improv a monologue. I sang 9 in the afternoon and got the role of Squeegee Man in Rent. So I was there saying, honest living, honest living, honest living. And I did that production of Rent, and I was like, all right, I'm stuck to this. And then senior year of high school came around. I was able to get Audrey 2 in Little Shop of Horrors. And then I did a review of a bunch of shows, and by then I'd already learned what In the Heights was. And in the musical review, there's still video, there's footage of this somewhere on YouTube of high school me doing Usnavi's opening and 96 abridged versions because we couldn't do the whole song for rights reasons. And I call my brother Danny. I go, Danny, because my brother Danny's a dancer. I go, Danny, I know you're a dancer. I'm doing theater now. Like I'm gonna be in a show. You gotta come see it. And my brother Danny goes, oh well, I'm on Broadway doing a show right now, so I'm a little busy. But and I was like, what? Broadway? What's that? And then it all kind of just like fell in that way.
Wow. Okay. And would you say, so you said you're not a singer, you consider yourself an actor. So for your artistry and how you define yourself as an artist and the work that you do, would you say you only do acting, or is there other things you do that's creative as well, like writing or directing?
Okay. So I do a lot of things. So in high school, I also did advanced art, like studio art. So I mean, I specified in doing screen printing and linoleum cuts, but I don't get to do that as much. But the biggest two other things I do is I write, and actually, well, writing, I guess, just many different styles of writing. I write poetry. I majored in playwriting in college, so I
Okay.
also write plays. Actually, in the middle of this quarantine, I wrote another one act. And then, as much as I don't consider myself a singer, I do write songs, and my family has to go through me singing from like 11 p.m. to 3 in the morning. At least for now. And
Mhm.
all right, good. My little sister's looking at me like, dude, don't lie. And so, I write a lot of songs, a lot of poetry, and I do write plays as well. And that's yeah. So writing, I write a lot. I write a ton.
Love that. Love that. So, anyone who's joining the Westport Country Playhouse wants to welcome you. This
Got
is
someone's
Coffee
good.
Chat. I'm talking to Rodolfo Soto. He is Usnavi from our production of In the Heights. So, yeah,
Yep.
let's get into it. Let's talk about In the Heights.
Oh
So,
my.
2019,
Yep.
In the Heights at the Westport Country
Yep.
Playhouse. For me, seeing that show, so that's the first show I saw at the Playhouse, and I saw it during when I was interviewing there, and I
Yeah.
brought my boy Dallas with me to see it, and we both like quietly wept throughout the entire show
Awesome.
because, as I told Paola last week, that was the first musical that I had ever seen about Latinx people and written by Latinx people. So what was that experience like for you?
Should I start? Where should I? Should I start from the audition? Should I start from the show itself? Like that whole. There's a story and a half that
Yeah,
goes.
wherever you want to start.
Oh, I've wanted to do the show since I learned about it in high school, and I gotta be honest. I thank goodness that I learned about that show in high school, because if I didn't, like, I loved Rent, and I started getting into other shows, but I don't know if Rent and Fela and Wicked and Next Normal were gonna be enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I listened to In the Heights, it wasn't even a conscious. I mean, that's what's important about Heights. It wasn't a conscious like, oh, that's me on stage. I'm gonna be able to do this now. It was just what's next? Oh, I know all of those people. I knew people in Rent. I knew people in Heights a lot more. And then that led me into going, oh, well, I don't exactly know the people of Next to Normal. I don't exactly know the people of Chicago. I don't exactly, and I want to learn about these people. And that's kind of where it all started. And then when I graduated college, I went to a school called Marymount Manhattan College, studied acting there and playwriting. And when I graduated, I auditioned for every production of Heights that I could find. The issue was I had no agent. So I was
Ah,
like doing it on my own. It was very difficult, but you push through it. And I got lucky because David Dreyfus, one of the producers at Westport,
yep.
completely took a chance on me. I went to that audition. So my best friend is actually at the audition. We're gonna hang out afterwards. And I go to the audition. I sing my song, and I come out the room. My best friend's out there waiting for me, and she goes, "I gotta be honest, he didn't sound that good." She goes, "Yeah, man, I've heard you sing before. That wasn't that good." I'm like, "Well, that's not what I wanted to hear coming out of my Heights audition or open call the EPA for the entire season for Westport." And David Dreyfus called me back for In the Heights. He didn't. He knew I had the energy for the show. He knew I had the drive, and I don't exactly know how many people he ended up calling back from the EPA, but I know it was something like, I mean, hundreds of people go out to these auditions, and we all go and we all try to be the one that sticks out to maybe get the call back, and we go in for things that we're right for, and we take chances, and the hope is that someone takes a chance on us. So David took a chance. I get called back for Benny, and I'm like, all right, I don't exactly see it, but I know the show, so I'm gonna do it up. I go to my vocal coach. I'm like, I got to sing these songs and whatever. I get the songs, I get the side. I go to the audition, and then I sing for Benny. I read the scene for Benny, and David Dreyfus is there with Marco Santana, who directed it, Claire from Tara Rubin, and I think Daniel Green, our music director, was also in the room, as well as Claire Burke's assistant. I think her name was Juliet or something like that. And I do everything, and then Marco Santana goes, "Oh, Rodolfo, that was really good. That was really good." I'm like, "All right, thanks, man." And he goes, "So how well do you know the show?" And I'll look at him as if like, "You're gonna ask me that question right now?" And I go, "Yeah, I know the show pretty well." And then he gives me the sides for Usnavi right there in the room. I do them all. I do them at the next callback, and I get the part. I'm freaking out. I remember yelling over the phone. I yelled into Claire Burke from Tara Rubin's ear when I got the call that I was doing it. And then on to doing the show, I was actually hurt the entire time because during Sitz Probe, I mean, aside from, I'm like skipping over a bunch of stuff trying to get to this. Aside from meeting all these beautiful people, Blanca Camacho, who played my abuela, I saw her play abuela on Broadway in the first Broadway show I ever saw, which was In the Heights. And now I get to be her Usnavi while doing it. I mean, that was already a dream come true. Doreen, original Broadway cast. Tony, original Broadway cast. And then you have new personalities, Dee Dee, Gerald, Sandra. And if I keep trying to name names, I'm not going to get through enough. I'm not going to be able to get through everyone. I'm so sorry. Edward, Ezekiel. I'm stopped. I'm not winning a Tony here. So I go through, I meet all these amazing people, and then I strain my calf during Sitz Probe. Like, all I have to do is stand there and sing all the dancing, and I strain my calf, and then by the end of tech, I'm no longer walking. So I have to go to like acupuncture, physical therapy, 3-4 times a week, and I'm doing the show. But along with adrenaline from just physically doing the show, everyone's reaction and everyone's positivity in the audience, as well as in Westport, kind of pulled me through it. And I got really happy on like a selfish, personal level, like with me. And then I get the level of people coming up to me saying, "This is the first show I've seen at Westport, and I don't regret it, and you were incredible, and the show was incredible, and I'm Puerto Rican." And then you got people making very generous donations to our Broadway Cares and to the theater because of what Heights did. And then you have people who are like, "I've been coming to Westport shows for the better part of 20 years, and this is one of the most amazing things we've seen at Westport." I mean, I don't know. There's a lot more. I could keep going, but I'll talk for a while. I don't want to spend all the time speaking. I mean, it was phenomenal. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Definitely. I think for our Playhouse community, like they're still talking about In the Heights. Like that was so well received in our Westport community. And I have actually a letter that we got really recently. Our general manager, Beth Husking, she received an email from a professor from a community college, the Norwalk Community College, about bringing her students to come see the show. And she wrote it to the Playhouse, but she also wrote it to you. So if I could read that for you, would that be
What?
great? Yeah, definitely. So
Oh
this
my
is from,
God.
yeah. So this letter is from Jane Perry. She's a professor at Norwalk Community College. She said, "Dear Playhouse, I brought my students to the Playhouse for In the Heights. Many students had not seen live theater since they were in elementary school, and some were resistant to the idea of coming. However, they loved the show because so many of my students have Latinx backgrounds. So they identified with the play and they had nothing but praise for Mr. Soto's performance. You made me their favorite professor. So thank you to the Playhouse for the presentation. And please thank Mr. Soto for his outstanding performance. Sincerely yours, Jane Perry.
Oh my God, that was so sweet. Thank you, Jane.
Yeah, of
Oh,
course. The community loves you here, man. Like that production was just so impactful for people.
I'm happy that they were able to get so much from the show. I mean, that's like that's unbelievable. I don't. I mean, thank you for the praise, but that credit does not fall on solely to me at all. I mean, that credit goes to people. I mean, from Lynn and Kiara who wrote the show to Marcos to Dave. I mean, that's. I mean, thank you, but thank you because I was able to stand in front and narrate the show and stuff like that. But I mean, that just goes. I mean, that goes to show what we can do as a community of Latinx people, of people of color, when we come together and God, I don't know which way to take this because there's so many. When we come together and are able to present ourselves as we see ourselves. I mean, every character in the show has like a big flaw that even the sweeter ones, where you look at them and you go, "There's not everything's right with this person. I want to see where this goes," and it doesn't. I mean, none of it involves what Tony Chiroldes, who played Kevin, what he said as many times as he could, and I mean, I'll say it again too, is that we were able to make this show, and it doesn't have to be about gangbangers, drug dealers, and things like that. I mean, there is a truth to that, but that's not an exclusively Latinx or people of color truth. And there's very much a true community of hardworking people who come from away, not to plug that show, but who come from somewhere else to try to make the best out of their lives and their next generation's lives. So, I mean, thank you, Jane, for the praise to me, but I really do think the show takes that credit. The show takes that credit.
Yeah. Well, for anyone joining us, I'm talking to Rodolfo Soto. This is the Westport Country Playhouse coffee break, and now we're going to transition.
Sorry.
There we go. So this is great talking about community to transition into representation. So for you as an actor of color, as Latinx, what are some of the challenges that like you have faced as an actor in this industry, if you would share that?
So the biggest, what's up, Natalie? What's up, Calvin? The biggest challenges I think I've faced personally, the biggest one challenge is there's this weird, and I'm not trying to place blame. There's no, I don't think it comes, maybe it comes down to the writing, maybe it comes down to the casting, the directing, the producing. There's so many, it's not about who it comes down to. I mean, you'll find out, and hopefully that'll help you fix it. But the problem is that it's still happening. The biggest issue that I think I face personally, which of course many other people face way bigger issues. We're talking about people with disabilities, women actors of color. I mean, trans actors. So many people face, I think, stronger issues when it comes to the casting. But I think the biggest issue I personally face is that I'm Black and Latino. So I when I tell you
Same
I'm
here.
so happy that I took this leap on casting me as Usnavi, it's very, I don't often see Black and Latino in the same place. Oh, are we getting a little connection issue?
Can you
getting connection
still
issue?
hear me?
Me? Oh, I'm back. We're back. Okay, we're back. All right.
You back?
So, yeah, I'm back. All right, cool. So the
I
biggest
can still
issue
hear
I think
you,
I face is that I'll audition for a role, and people, I don't know who, but people will look at me and think, that's not my image of Black, or that's not my image of Latino or Latinx. That's not my, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that it's very difficult. I don't know why. It's actually not difficult. It's pretty easy, but people don't see Black and Latinx at the same time. and that's, I think, my struggle. That's my, you know, when I see a on, they're looking for a Latinx actor, speak Spanish, yada yada yada. I go in and I'm not that image. Or if I see black, mid-20s, whatever, I go in and I'm not that image. And that's the right. I can't complain. I can't complain. I'm a very straight passing male. Like, it's not like there are other bigger fights that people have to face.
Mm-hmm. And would you say, so to combat that issue, and we talk about like representation, and it takes that look like us, like you and I, in the space to.
Oh, I kind of lost you there. Uh-oh.
Access and understanding. So do you think we need more representation in casting directors, theater, to kind of combat these issues?
¿Alguien lo ve bien? My manager over here losing you audio-wise. Sorry about that, Jacob. You got me now? Okay. What was the question again?
Yeah. So in terms of representation, what area of the industry and theater to combat some of these issues do we need more
I think
Afro Latinx people in like producing? Yeah.
I think so I kind of heard the beginning part of the question, which is where do we need to see more inclusivity, is kind of was the gist of it.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think where we need to see that as theater makers, I mean, we need to see it across the board. But the thing is that it's not that we don't have it across the board. It's not that we don't have producers. It's not that we don't have directors. We don't have playwrights. We don't have set designers. We have them. We exist. We're out and about, and we're ready to work, and we're excited to work. I think producers being sweet. This isn't across the board, but some producers don't have just the funds to do what they want to do, and that could be for many reasons. But I think the biggest place right now, what will help us a lot, see that inclusion in mentorship. I think we exist playwrights, we exist as actors, we exist as designers, but the doors are so difficult to open, and when they do open, 2, 3, 4 of us get in, you know, and then we get to do this one show, and it's all exciting and it's all great, and then it's quickly over, and meanwhile you have hundreds of very talented, very committed, very hardworking designers, playwrights, actors, producers, who didn't get that opportunity to get in that door, because we're all trying to fit in that door. So I think that mentorship is going to be a big step. If the next generation of, if this generation of mentors can mentor the next generation of like people of color, trans people, actors, directors, and whatnot, so that when that next generation comes, we have a clean slate of stories. We have truth, and truth in many directions. We have complex truth, and that's not limited to a specific group of people. So my big thing is mentorship. I don't know if that's exactly the right way to put that, but that's what I think it is. I think it's like molding that next generation. I mean, there wouldn't have been a Heights if Lynn didn't have a mentor that said, you can do this and you need to keep this up. I wouldn't have been an actor. I wouldn't have been at Westport at all if I didn't have a group of mentors saying, no, like, you suck at acting now, but I'm going to help you get better, and we're going to make you do what you love. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I would have given, no matter how, like, yeah, I just use me as an example because it's easier, and I don't want to get someone else's example wrong. I'm not trying to do this to be selfish, but no matter how hard I worked or how talented I could have been or whatever, you need a push. You need to stop doubting people's dreams, and you need someone to say, you got this, you got this, you got this. I mean, the best boxers. I hope you know what I'm saying because you're lagging so hard, Jacob.
Mm, definitely. Uh,
And I don't have coffee. I have a smoothie. There we go.
can you hear?
Yeah, you got me. You got.
Do I got you back? Awesome. Let me ask you some of these.
I wish I heard any of that. I say we go overtime. I say we go overtime because we're losing a lot to lag. I say we. I say. I say we give it an extra 5 or 10. You know.
Question is from Anika Jonker, and she wants to know what was your favorite part? What was your favorite playing Usnavi?
Oh my god. You said her name was Anita or Nika?
Anika.
Anika. My favorite part of playing Usnavi. So my favorite there, I'm gonna separate into like two halves. One of my favorite parts of playing Usnavi was just the fact that I got to play Usnavi, because when I was sitting in front of my computer, learning all of these words since high school. You know what I'm saying? Like and it took, and then many years happened, college happened, and then a year after that happened before I actually got to play the role. So the one part is literally just being like told you're gonna get to do it, and then another favorite part of mine was that with Dan Green, music director, and Marco Santana's help and like approval and guidance, they let me change the role a little. Not change the words, not change the words. Lynn wrote some incredible words, but they let me not have to come in with a Lynn clone. You know, like when you saw the show at Westport, or even if you saw it again when I did it in Sacramento, you didn't get that Lynn clone copy and paste. You got my story. You got that Rodolfo Usnavi's perspective, which Marcos was very big on. So I think that was my favorite part too, is being able to just say the words a little different, being able to bring my group to it, and not having to try to, okay, that's how Lynn did it. All right, that's how I'm gonna do it right now. All right, ready? Let's go. You know?
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. So next question. Uh, I'm probably gonna butcher this person's username. I'm so sorry if you're watching this. But I think it's Beautiful Leafels wants to know, if you were to sing only one song from In the Heights for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Thank you, beautiful. If I were to sing one song from In the Heights for the rest of my life, what would it be? Oh, oh. Star, what song have I sang the most from that show? 96,000. Okay, they all said 96,000. My family is obviously on the same page. I was going to say the finale. Feeling happier on one day, I just focus on what I want to focus on. If I sing it, if I'm being sad, or if I'm sad the next day, just focus on. Dude, the finale's so good, but I'll do 96,000, or else my family would get really mad. So 96,000, beautiful. 96,000. It's gonna be so good. Okay, I got you back now, Jacob. I got you back. I hope you heard any of my answer. Did you hear any of that? Oh,
Okay, awesome. So the
yep.
last community question that I have is from Betsabeth Castro, and she wants
Do to stay motivated. That's a great question. That's a difficult question to ask, because I'm very. A lot of my close friends will tell you this, but I do. I mean, I lose motivation even while I was. I mean, not exactly while I was doing the show, because I was able to lean back on it until I was able to. When I'm not doing anything, what do I do to stay motivated? I either go skateboarding. Oh, it's definitely something physical. So I either go skateboarding, or I start writing, which is a lot more physical than it may seem. I mean, it takes a lot out of you. I'll tell you that much. I write. Some of my really close friends know this, and now I guess everyone in my family is gonna know this. but I write little poems on napkins because of that like weird thing that like someone drew the Paramount logo on a napkin and now that's what it is. So I write poems on napkins throughout the. Some of them are incredible, and I keep them with me forever. A little bits of writing or lots of bits of skateboarding. That's my answer to that.
I love it. Skateboarding. Nice. Well, Rodolfo, thank you so much for joining me on this chat. You said so many great things.
I'm sorry about the lag.
And oh, it's all good. It's like live theater, you know.
All right.
All right, Rodolfo.
All right,
well, I wish you the best. Yeah, I wish you the best. Stay healthy as well. Thank you so much.
Say bye, mommy.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Peace.
Bye, Rodolfo. Rodolfo is so amazing, and I really have to emphasize like how much the Playhouse community in itself really appreciates and loves Rodolfo. He comes to all of our opening nights, and he's so great. I really want to share a story of when I first met him. I didn't want to say it when he was here because I didn't want to embarrass him, but I remember when I first started at the Playhouse, I didn't know anyone yet. I was only a couple of weeks on the job, and I was going to opening night of Irving Berlin, which was our third show in our 2019 season. And I was so nervous and scared. So we hold our opening night events in our barn. So I was there, and I didn't really know anyone, and I felt really uncomfortable. But then our director of development came up to me, Gretchen Wright, and she was like, and then when I met him, I felt so much more comfortable. He was so warm and conversational, and he made me feel so much more comfortable being in that space, being so new. So thank you to Rodolfo. He's really amazing, as y'all can see. And thank you so much for joining me and Rodolfo for our chat. We'll be back again next week, but at 3:30, a special time with Carlos, who was in Man of La Mancha. So thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you next week.